Welcome to Bolzano, welcome to Eurac.
Yeah, design for what? Design for who? Design for why? Why are we doing this? Are we just producing a low-emission VW camper? Or are we designing a whole new transportation system?
Many scientific research, Bregman is saying that, gives the result that the big majority of all the people would like to do the best job. They are very engaged and they have a very, very strong intrinsic motivation. But the organization, many organizations are doing exactly the wrong thing. They go really top down, even if in the journals they say I'm bottom up, but at the end they would like to control the mind of the other people. That is the issue. And you have to go bottom up. A manager has to define the frame. I have to define the frame, the objective. What within this frame, the people should be completely free to do the job.
Design thinking is not anymore an approach that can support only product innovation, but it is evolving across different domains: business, strategies, organizational transformation, digital transformation, service innovation. Effective design can contribute to good governance by creating systems, processes, and products that align with the values, the principles, and the goals of an organization.
The point is simply that we do not have three separated topics, that there's design, management, and governance. Consequently, we do not have three separated blocks of speakers, titles, and contents. Instead, we are focusing on the connection lines between design and management, between design and governance, and between governance and management. In fact, and that is an indicator of the advanced interdisciplinary quality of this workshop, all speakers will address these lively connections. Redirecting human progress cannot be done by means of superior ethics and good intentions alone. Instead, effective forms of management and governance are required. Realizing sustainable development in practice takes place under conditions of targeting conflicts, about priorities, utilization competition, about resources, as well as divergent interests and contrasting visions of how our common future should look like. Facing great challenges of humankind requires tailoring well-designed interventions in the ongoing dynamics of existing patterns. In communicative culture as well as in material culture, in the organizational sphere as well as in the technological sphere. But how to do so? And what could be the role of design in doing so? Governance and management are specialized forms of professional practice, as is design. They have been developed to address distinct topics, find solutions for particular problems, and achieve different tasks. Be it preparing and performing of procedures of collective decision-making and implementing their results, or figuring out viable or even optimal ways in the allocation of resources and realizing corresponding strategies for enterprises to thrive, or enriching our material and visual cultures with products, services, and creations that work and simultaneously satisfy our aesthetic senses. Governance, management, and design are theoretically reflected and institutionalized forms of human practice.
Once you design, you have to engage in changing. Once you change something, you actually have to start to organize and reorganize. Can be anything: materials, thoughts, structures. What is it that you're dealing with? What is it that you're organizing? Most of the services we use in everyday life and that really have an impact on how we go on living and how we, are part of society, how we struggle, how we don't struggle, actually are designed, developed, and delivered by the public sector.
The transdisciplinary research approach makes it necessary for science to open to problems of everyday lives, to real-world problems, and to integrate non-scientific actors into the research process and to position itself critically also vis-à-vis of the often normative treatment of the topics in the field of sustainability. And to be able to cope with multi-layered and complex and independent challenges, it is necessary to think and act beyond disciplinary boundaries.
So futures literacy, in essence, tries to check on and investigate your own creative future generating process at the root of all your projections and images of the future you may have. A huge factor in forging the future is ignorance. And Socrates who said, I know that I don't know. That is the first thing to acknowledge. The future cannot be known because it's in the future.
And so I think what we can learn is that these participatory processes, they have value, as also Ingrid pointed out today. I think it's important that we can really show what we learned over the last 60, 70 years here in South Tyrol, and also to lead by example and to show others how it works, but also to tell them what does not work, because that's also important. We know that also our system has its limits, and therefore I think here we are more in the experience design sector, that we really need to bring them here and to tell them in a very honest way that works and that does not work.
Design thinking, but also design approaches as a whole should be able or should be useful to work on the system and not only in the system. We need a resilience capacity and capability in order to face the direct challenges coming from the crisis. So this is resilience, the ability to act in complex situations.
We are in the space that is cleared by design. Tim Ingold, an anthropologist, contrasts two ways of being, or two perspectives. One is what he calls the building perspective, which is the typically Western assumption, I would say, that first we have to build worlds before we can inhabit them. Whilst the other perspective that he is actually proposing and defending, so to speak, and documenting in his research is a kind of a dwelling perspective. That means that worlds become meaningful by inhabiting them. And that is what is meant by we are by design. There I would like to refer to a very, I would say, illuminating quote by Sir Geoffrey Vickers, who is an important figure in, I would say, in the history of systems science, saying that a trap is a trap only for creatures which cannot solve the problem that it sets. So traps for humankind are dangerous only in relation to the limitations on what people can see and value and do.
The most important thing we bring as designers to projects, research projects with other disciplines, is actually the question of meaning and value. Because when we design a product, it's not just a functional product that does something. It's also a product or an experiment or experience, an image, a visual, a video, whatever it is, that somehow will resonate with people, right? With people in the outside world. Something that will have meaning and value to people. What will happen if we don't preserve plants? Why is peat moss important? Why is biodiversity important? What can I do to help the forests? How do nature and farmland differ? What is a protected area? What does it mean to conserve? Why is nature pleasant? Environmental education is more than information about the environment, okay? It's more than information. And for it to not be just information, we have to think about awareness and sensitivity regarding environmental issues, knowledge and understanding of those same issues. Also attitudes, how do we create impacts on attitudes? And also, how do we situate research through design or design more broadly within broader debates regarding the role of creativity as a means to facilitate processes of eco-social transformation?
Here, I just wanted to emphasize again that it's really this competence of designers to have the ability to materialize also different future possibilities. That we can also show different possible futures, and here we can also say it should go more into this direction of a preferable future. So we can really also discuss, hey, when we would like to go into this direction, what do we need today to go towards this direction? And I think this is really a good way to also kind of reduce complexity or start really meaningful conversations within really complex topics.
But the beauty of design is that we can help leaders to make things happen for real because we act on the thing for real. And the thing is that object that we put in the middle. It can be a digital object, it can be whatever it is. But there is an object in the middle. And instead of talking like this, we talk to the object, and this object evolves and becomes real. So we're still blinded, like we used to be in the past, but not because there's no light bulb up there. We are blinded nowadays because there are too many light bulbs. But the big challenge today is to understand where should we want to go. Where should we go in this context where everything is possible?
So polycrisis on the street is something very difficult to tackle for us as individuals, yeah, because it's too much. Yeah, we have there's a kind of the psychologists that talk about these that we can only have 8 what are the things to worry about, yeah, or 3. No, you can define it. But our way to worry about. There's even to talk about for your mental health, smart worrying. Yeah, smart worrying is worry about things you can change.
On the applied side, how can destination development be shaped by approaches from design? A very important role in here play participatory approaches in order to become more deeply rooted in a destination, and how involved actors, inhabitants, and not only traditional stakeholders in tourism can be involved in the different challenges that we have to deal with. Like what I've seen also, or what I've learned also during these 2 days of conference, is that the design of transformation processes is really at the center of action.
And we wish to share this knowledge because we know only if all of us can contribute their best to the common task, we have a chance to master these challenges. Either we win as a team or we lose. Thank you.